There we go.
Well, that were a shambles.
Full time, St James's Park. Newcastle United 3, Burnley 1. Time for the post-match debate. Everybody get your comments in. We'll have a look at your comments and stuff like that. We'll try and read as many out as we can and discuss what we did. Last week, we ended up staying on for about 45 minutes after the game. We probably won't do that again because I'm down for a piss. But, Johnny, I'll let you go because you always seem to fucking stir a lot of pots and shit with your opinions. So, not that you're wrong, because I know that half the time is spot on. Stuff like this, though, another shit performance, 3 games in, 3 defeats, second bottom of the league, only Fulham underneath us. What the fuck are we going to do now? Johnny, thoughts on the game?
But is anyone shocked that we are where we are? Because beginning of the season, I said it's lucky we're going to have 3 teams worse off than us. So you like Fulham, West Brom, and then I think I said Villa, but throw a couple of teams into that. So I'm not shocked we are down the bottom section of the table, but the way we're playing at the back, what we used to do, we're good defensively and we get the odd couple of goals. The way the games are going, you need to be banging in goals for fun. I mean, Newcastle scoring 3. Did they score 3 all last season at home? I don't think they did. So we're defensively we're poor, and for the second half, we had like a 20-minute spell where we were on top and we were creating chances, but we just can't find the back of the net. And when you've got a team who's shipping goals for fun and look dodgy, the bad goals to give away, and we can't score, where do we expect to be? I think the table doesn't lie at the end of the day, does it?
No, it don't lie. It doesn't lie, but we have played... What? We've played one good team, to be fair. I'm going to make excuses.
That's what I mean. We haven't played anyone. We've played a decent team.
We played one good team.
The rest of these teams, we should be comfortably getting something out of that game.
We should have.
Not. We got beat 3-1 against Newcastle.
I looked at the first 3 games of the season and I was like, right, we'll get beat against Leicester, we'll beat Southampton at home, and we'll draw away at Newcastle. I expected 4 points.
Let me pause this.
3 minimum.
So you've got you obviously got Fulham, Sheffield United, West Brom. So it's going to be between candles, isn't it? And then you look at the teams above that: Wolves, Southampton, Brighton, Man United. We're not going to be anywhere near fucking them lot this season. So we're going to be lucky. We'll be looking for 17th. So are we progressing? No, but
definitely not progressing.
We overachieve every year, don't we? So this is where we should be kind of be, I think, for this season.
Simon, your thoughts on the game and any other points you want to add?
On the game, I'm massively disappointed because from a first half to go 1-0 in, 1-0 down, should I say. We didn't do anything. We didn't even try and sort of get back into it. We come out in the second half full of confidence, it seemed. We were pushing, we were pressing, we were picking the ball up and moving it around a lot faster than we were in the first half. We get a goal back, and like the commentator says, we look like the only team that we're going to go on and win that. And it just shows you the lack of confidence we've got at the minute. And is that a leadership problem? Is it? I don't know if it is. Is Ben Mee such an integral part as we thought? I don't know. We know he's a good big cog in the wheel, but is he?
It's a good point.
Is he such a big one?
Point. And sorry to butt in, but me and Johnny did half have that debate when you were looking for a charger, and I've stopped you because Graham's made a. I brought Ben Mee up and said, "Is Ben Mee like the glue that holds it together?" Basically, is he like the fucking like you said, integral leader? He's a good player, and I don't necessarily. He's obviously the captain, but I don't necessarily. He's not a captain that strikes me as definite leader. And when we're missing him, we're fucked. When we're missing Tarky, I think we're fucked. But Tarky, we're back to that. But obviously, there are still some players that need to come back in. Ben Mee's one of them. But I've put Graham Jennings' comment on the screen, and he says Ben Mee is the spine of this team. Without him, we are so weak. Rumours of Wilson coming in on loan need to be true just to give us some boost. West Brom game is now a must-win, and it's only our 4th game of the season. Now, I highlighted that because of the Ben Mee point, because me and Johnny had mentioned it, and Simon mentioned it as well. But is he really that important to us, Johnny? Is Ben Mee really that important to us?
I think it's an easy comment to make that yes, he is because of the way we're playing, and he's not there.
That's what I'm going to say.
I don't know, because I don't think so. He's not that good of a player. He's a good defender and he does what he needs to do. But last season, in my opinion, he got covered a lot by the likes of Tarky next to him, Taylor on the left. But obviously Tarky's just back in the team. Taylor didn't have the best of games today. And the key players for us have not been performing. Nick Pope, he's like a different goalkeeper this year. I mean, that first goal, he should have saved it, and then he's fucked up for the penalty. McNeil, terrible. He's been absolutely terrible this season. And again, it's sort of key players who we need to step up and drive us forward in times like this just aren't stepping up. Whereas Ben Mee, you know what you're getting with him. Wears his heart on his sleeve and he'll give you 7 out of 10 every week. 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10. But the flair players and the people who can create stuff need to step up and just have done that.
Simon?
Like I said before, in my comment, I was saying, is he such a vital cog in the machine of the team? And he obviously is a big part of it, because there has not been a time where we've been without him for this long. And yet we are really struggling. Even with Tarky back, there still look some massive errors in that defence still. And I think that he's not the main one. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he is the main defender, but he is I don't know, he just fits the pieces of the puzzle together for me. But then in midfield, like letting Hendrick go and stuff like that, you can argue it till the blue in the face, was that right or wrong decision to make? But there is no sort of connection at the minute between the defence and midfield. The tracking back of, we mentioned Charlie Taylor being out on his own. Dwight should be back there if he's on the left, or whoever's on the left at the time should be back there covering him. There's so many sort of things that, would they get away with that if we had a full 11 out there?
I get the Hendrick comment, like we say squad play, but Hendrick would not have made a blind bit of difference to that performance today for us. Nothing.
Well, Jack Cork as well, but just been brought back in. I'm just saying that everyone together last year knew the role, they knew the drill, and without them so far, we're being exposed. That's what my point is, more than the players individually.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of them. Like, Ben Mee's obviously massive. He's far better than Long, and there's clearly something wrong there at the back. Because we're shipping goals for fun. Let's be honest. We conceded 4 against Leicester, 1 against Southampton. All right, we only 1 against Southampton, but it was a sharp goal. And then 3 tonight, 3 at Newcastle against a side that don't really have a decent striker. All right, they brought Wilson in, but he's not really done too much until now. So maybe I know
it's the City game as well. I know it's not the first team, but there's still
true. He played pretty much the first defence, to be fair, but obviously I left it out for that reason. But it's one of them, like, are we finally now seeing how important Ben Mee actually is?
Yeah.
It all points towards that.
Well, like you said earlier, it is an easy comment to make. Of course it is.
It's an easy... You can only judge that when he comes back and if his fortunes change straight away. That's the only way you can judge that. But he is better. Is he better than what we've currently got in Long and Dunn? Yes. Yeah. But I think it's hard in a lot of negative... Like I said at the beginning of the season, negativity has been not one positive thing come out. And the way we're playing, everything, it's just negative going through. You know what I mean? It's just nothing. You don't watch them and think, fucking hell, you're on edge of your seat with anything, or that's impressed me. It's just fucking, just like a fucking level, innit? It's just flat.
Yeah, I don't remember last time I was on edge of my seat. Even when we were flying high in the league, it was scraping through 1-0s and stuff. But it were, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. It doesn't look like there's going to be a solution to the problem at the minute for me.
An absolute shit ton of comments coming in. Feel free to jump in, guys, at any point when you want to discuss a comment. Linkinden says we couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. That's something you were saying, Johnny, weren't it? Going forward, it don't look that good either. In fact, that's a point. I'll stop right there already before I read all the comments out. What the fuck is wrong with Dwight McNeil? Like, why is Dwight McNeil not as good this season as he was last season and the season before? Like, admittedly, I said on the podcast this week, we shouldn't be as reliant on Dwight McNeil as what we are. But now Dwight McNeil isn't playing well. The whole team cannot do fuck all going forward. So
I think it's been found out. Simon mentioned it, I think, the other week. It's just been found out. If you look at it as just take yourself out of the equation of being a Burnley fan, and you look at the Burnley team, and you think, right, we're playing Burnley today. What do we need to do? You need to get tight to Chris Wood and hold him off, and you need to mark McNeil out the game. If you mark McNeil out the game, we don't create anything because Brownhill is out on the right. So it's very simple. All they did, Hendrick were on the right. He didn't do a great fucking deal, but he just offered cover to the right. right back where McNeil were, and he didn't create it. He had to go out to the right midfield when Goodmanson come out, and he still didn't do anything. Just mark him up, two up on him. He can't do anything.
Simon?
Yeah, I was just watching that goal back then. Sorry, mate, but yeah, I think there's a lot of factors to play in it. I don't know if there's any team that's played this consistent 11 that we did as much as we did last season. And then there was the Corona thing. Then there was the break. Then there was not a proper summer. And then they've just been thrown back in. And I'm not making excuses for that. I'm just saying that there's probably a factor there in the momentum of we haven't even got going yet. It doesn't feel like we've come out of pre-season. We just don't seem prepared for this season. And I think that all boils down to the bodies, and we've not got the right heads in at the right time. And Stevens, fair enough, he's come in and he might be an impactful player later in the season. But like I said, it should have been done earlier.
Yeah.
It should have been. We've not prepared for this season the way that other teams have.
I feel harsh slagging Stevens off. He's played 2 games and he came in on his last game pretty much the day before. But he don't look good enough for me, to be honest, so far already. And I don't understand why he's insistent on playing Brownhill out wide. Get Brownhill in the middle. I'd rather have Peters on one of the wings than fucking Brownhill, because Brownhill belongs in the middle.
Well, even Dash knows that. Deep down, Dash knows that, because that's the first sub that he makes. The first sub in this game is put Brownhill back in middle. It's not just bringing Goodmanson on; he's putting Brownhill in middle. It's half the battle.
Yeah. Some more comments coming in. Sammy Dartnell says, what a shit show that was. Robbie Lindsay, boring Burnley. John Brown Kenner, I'm worried that the owners are focused on selling the club and making it look as financially viable as possible by limiting spending money on new players. I think a few people have sort of like said that. I've mentioned the Graham Jennings comment about Ben Mee. Claire Wamser says, awful, we need to buy more players or we're going down. In fact, I'm going to go for a piss after I ask this question. I'll hopefully be back before you finish it and there's not just silent. But that's what is when does the transfer window shut? Is it Monday? Something like that. It's coming up in the next few days, isn't it? Like, we're probably not going to bring any players in on him, let's be fair. And if we do bring people in, who the fuck are we going to bring in? And on that note, I'm going to go for a piss. Johnny, you answer the question first, please.
I don't know. I don't know who you can bring in. Obviously, we've been linked with Wilson. But without actually ever a starter, you know what I mean? We're actually ever going to go for him and try and get him back in. We need about 4 players. We're just not going to go and spend that cash to go and get them 4 players. It's pointless getting a loan signing because we know the record with Dash and loan signings. It's fucking pointless. And you won't want to send a young up-and-coming player to Burnley because he's never going to get played. So I don't know who you can sign. Wilson would be a fantastic signing for us. But then if we sign Wilson, that's going to do nothing for that performance again today. He's not going to change that and turn that on its head to it, turn into a victory because we're so bad at the back. What do you think, Simon? Who would you go?
Yeah, I was just reading comments. Sorry, mate, I wasn't ignoring you. But it was just, I do agree with you. What is Harry Wilson going to sort of solve in the immediate problem is what you're asking, isn't it? And I don't think a great lot. Is it a real signing? I don't know. I think that was a real one because for the first time in my memory, we've actually gone in at a valuation that I would think was fair. 15 million, I think that's fair enough for me. But I'm sick to death of reading that someone wants 15 million and we're going 8.5. And it's just like, it's not even starting the ball rolling, that is it really? It's just an insult. But as far as players in that we need some creative pace. We need pace. St. Maximin is not the best player in the world, but look how he can terrorise a team by just running.
Yeah, but we'd never, ever. I said that during the game. We'd never have a player like St. Maximin because Dash would not let him get away with what he wants him to do. So it'd be pointless to signing that. Like adult, let's say an adult Turat type of player. When he were at QPR, he did fuck all, but he could create some of that. We'd never ever have a player like that at Burnley. So St. Maximin, it's just ridiculous.
No, I agree with that. I don't want a player.
It's like I was saying, Joe Linton. How much did Newcastle pay for him? £40 million, and you think, well, they've paid £40 million for Joe Linton, and he's fucking terrible. So what can we spend? You know what I mean?
there's things you can do. There's things you can spend. We know where our weaknesses. We have no outlet. It's all right knocking the ball long for Wood, and Wood's got pace. Wood's not slow like, but once that's not working, there's no other option, and that's what frustrates me. And you've got Andre Gray, and I know people will like roll their eyes at me for saying this, but he's not even making a Watford bench, and I know for a fact he could do a better job than our bench right now. I'm not saying I want him in the first team, but there's an option when it's not going your way. Joe, you're still on mute, fella.
Yeah, it's like, do you know, like, because I've talked sport on quite a bit, and the fucking Newcastle fans absolutely slate Mark Ashley for whatever reason. But as a Burnley fan, looking at that, you think, what are you actually whinging at? Because if you look at the signings they have made this season, I'd have every single one of them. You know what I mean? And you think, you've signed Wilson, you've signed Fraser. Hendrick on a free, yeah, but you look at the actual team and the players and you think, I'd have him. But they fucking sit there whinging. You think, try supporting Burnley where we signed Stevens as a squad player and now we stuck him in centre midfield and he's an all-win because everyone's saying, oh, he's shit, he's not creating it. Well, he can't create, so he's not that type of player. Just fucking shit.
Another thing that a few people are saying, obviously Jay is injured, and Jay were fantastic in the second half of last season, and that's when we were so good. Is Jay's injury the one that... to be fair, we're missing two very key players in Jay and Ben Mee, but I agree with everything you're saying, Johnny and Simon. We've been dog shit so far, but the key players, like you say, that are on the pitch, Pope and Dwight, have been pretty poor, but there's Jay as well who's got to come back in. Would Jay make that much of a difference?
Can I chip in here before we answer that comment? Because if you watch Sky Sports now, you'll see Jamie Redknapp doing the slows and breaking down sort of the Wilson goal. And the first thing he's highlighted is Dwight McNeil. And his comment about it was he likes Dwight McNeil. This is the second part of it, sorry. But the first part of it was he brought down and he said, I like Dwight McNeil, but he's getting lackadaisical in the last 2 or 3 games. He's not tracking back. And that's the first thing that we said in regards to the St. Maximin goal, and he's highlighting it on a different goal where we didn't even analyse it.
With the Dwight McNeil thing, I think he's got a bit of fucking monk on because he didn't get it under 21s. Now, if you get knocked back in any walk of life, you react 2 ways. You either fucking get your fucking big boy pants on and you fucking start churning out performances and putting yourself back in the box saying, look, this is what I can do. Or you can sit there and sulk and mope around like a fucking tart. And that is exactly what he's doing now.
Having said that, he's back in the under-21s now, but yeah, he's been shit since he was left out of them.
How can he be left out when he played like that, and then he's been put back in when he's playing like this?
Someone made a point on Twitter, and I half agree with him. As stupid as it sounds, I can't remember it were, so apologies if you're watching. Someone said, I genuinely believe that they forgot him last time. And I think that could be the case because he were playing so well all season and he were always in the under-21s. Then all of a sudden he were out of him. Now he's been shit all season. He's back in him. So they must have just forgot about him.
Mm.
But it's one of them. I don't understand. Before Simon jumped in on that with the comments about that, obviously Jay's missing as well. Would Jay have made a difference?
Got me to answer that?
No. Anyone? Anybody?
Well, yeah, it'd make a difference because he offers you that little bit of something different up front, doesn't he, than Barnes and Wood, where he can run the channels, he can bring people into play. So yeah, he'd obviously today it would have been good to have him in the team. I didn't think Barnes did that bad to say he's hardly played. To be fair, I thought he was quite good. It's just looking at we're looking at Goodmanson, Brady, who the good players when they want, but we're relying on them, relying on Rodriguez, relying on these players, Barnes, who seem to get injuries all the time. You can only rely on them for so long. And that's the stage you're at now. It's kind of run its course.
My answer to that is yeah. We do need all players, and I said it at the beginning, so I'm not going to retract it and say, oh, well, one player is not, but because it does. All these players play a part in our 11, and I said all last year in the podcast, and I say it again. On paper, we're not a good team, but we're a good 11, and that 11 works well together. We work it in every angle, and like you said, if one's missing, it also goes to shit, and you can't rely on that. And that's what I was saying about getting these sort of options on the bench. It's all right with the first team, but we don't even have a fucking option on the bench. And I'm just listening to Jamie again going over the Dwight McNeil, and not just Dwight. He's just talking about Dwight again now, but he's saying that he's seeing lackadaisical errors from Burnley that you don't know Burnley for, and he doesn't want to see it from Dwight McNeil because he wants him to be the player that he looked at last season.
It's one of them. They're just showing that Nick Pope one now, and it fits in perfectly with what you just said about you seeing errors from Burnley that you don't see. And you've got Nick Pope, who doesn't make any errors whatsoever, not even controlling a fucking pass, and then giving a fucking penalty away. It's just, it ties in perfectly with what you just said and what Johnny's been saying for ages about Pope and Dwight both being shit. But I'm about 15 minutes behind the comments now, I'm not going to lie, because I've been chatting for so long. Laura says, we've been here before, but fucking hell, it's bad if we could be outclassed by Newcastle, isn't it? And then the thing you followed up that with, Laura, that I'm not going to read out, the answer is no, he is not. Joanne Burrows says, lethargic, slow, poor defending, little creativity going forward. Don't disagree with any of that. Bradley Miller, shout out, says hashtag back Dash. Totally agree, but I think it's too late now. James Smith said Dash's last game. He reckons that's going to be Dash's last game. I bet he resigns before we return from the international break. Honestly, I know we're shit, but I cannot see that.
He'd never resign. He'd never resign.
I don't think he will. Honestly, I don't. I'll be shocked.
He won't resign on that contract.
No.
From what I hear, no other club have paid the wages he's on as a manager. So I don't know what he's on, but I know that he's on a shitload.
As far as I know, he's on 75 grand a week. But again, and I don't know. I've not read his contract. I'm not RTK. But as far as I know, he's on 75 grand a week.
From my understanding, that's an awful lot for a manager in the Premier League still.
Well, you said the comment, we've been here before.
Laura.
Well, we have been here before, but that's the point I'm making. It's the same squad. It's an aging squad. You can't keep doing the same thing and being here before and expecting to come out. You can only do it for so long, can't you? Without changing anything.
Yeah, and it's one of them. Like, I think we've been here before a couple of seasons ago, and we had an excuse then. It was obviously the Europa League. Now we don't have an excuse other than we've not been backed, and I don't think the squad is strong enough now to get us out of it.
At the beginning of the game, when the team sheet come out, I was like looking at comments on Twitter and stuff, and you see Tarky's back, Barnes is back, Goodmanson and Brady on the bench. You looked and everyone's thinking, fucking hell, we're back here. This is where it starts. This is where our season starts. And that performance was diabolical. So, you know what I mean? To get them all back fit, he still plays shit.
Yeah. Again, trying to catch up with the comments. I'm still about 15 minutes behind. Graham Nutter says he thinks the power struggle, I presume he's referring to the power struggle between Daesh and Garlic, is killing us. Then he follows that up with Garlic needs to F off because he's killing us. Me and Sam have mentioned it on the podcast before. I think Johnny agreed on the last watch along. I think we've outgrown Garlic, definitely. But I just one of them. I think a lot of people have tried to refer to the point that maybe he's not buying people because he's trying to make the balance sheet look healthy for any potential sale. But again, no one really knows that. A lot of people talking about Ben Mee and how we should come back. I presume because I'm behind. That's from the comments about that. A few people slagging Kevin Longoff as well. Again, it's something that we've said before that we agree with. Bradley Lords put a big comment up. I've fucking lost it now. Where's it gone? There we go. No, it's not. That's Joey Shirley. Where's his comment gone? It just refreshed and I've lost it. But the point of it was we have a strong 11, but the subs aren't good enough. And at the minute, I half agree with you, but the subs were better this time than they were before that. Simon, I'll let you talk about that. Do you think your subs are good enough?
The subs are good, but I think there's no options. There's no different sort of players, and I keep referring to the same people. But that pace, I won't say names because it could be anyone. It doesn't matter who it is, but it's that pace in the channels we don't have on the bench. We have Goodmanson and Brady, again, two similar players. Well, for me, one's far better than the other, but Johnny Tate will disagree with that. And then I'd have one on each wing. But then, like you said, once they're in the first team where they probably should be, look at your bench then. That's my argument. My argument is when you've got that first 11, I look at the bench then and tell me what options there are that are different to what's already on the pitch. Something that can change the game. For me, they ain't there.
Fair enough. I'll just read through a few more comments as well. Mick Famine reckons Dash is on 80 grand, similar sort of vibe. It's 75, 80. I mean, it sure adds up. It's an extra 20 grand a fucking month. Graham Nutter, he's still in the chat. He says there's ways of doing things, and I think Daesh needs to shut his trap now because it's affecting us. There's a few people in the comments throughout the course of the chat and on Twitter, on Twitter Clarets and stuff, sort of like saying that Daesh isn't helping the situation. Would anyone say that that's fair? Johnny, I'll let you start this time. Do you think Daesh is constantly, I won't use the phrase spitting his dummy out, but being a bit mardy in press conference and that? I'm not sure that's not helping.
Yeah, he's reacting differently to certain situations.
I agree.
From the end of last season to this season, than he has done previously. Now, I don't know if that's something he's consciously doing to try and change the culture of the way the board are doing things, but you've got to look at it as you got to break it down as simple as possible. So if we have hypothetically a fully fit team, there's no injuries. You look at that squad and you think that's a good squad. So if we'd have picked up a couple of points here and there and we'd have been like mid-10th in the league now, and we didn't sign anyone, you wouldn't be that bothered, would you? You'd be thinking, fair enough, we're doing well. So yes, we've had injuries, but still not playing well. And that only comes down to Dash. That does not come down to Garlic. I'm sorry it doesn't. It comes down to the tactics and the way we're setting up. So, yes, Garlic, yes, I want players, don't get me wrong, and I think, but it's an easy thing for me to everyone to say, we're not buying anyone, Garlic out. Yeah. But he's still putting the team together. He's still doing the tactics. They're still going out onto the pitch. Man. That's not Garlic. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's where I'm coming from. There's something that's just not right. And
Johnny,
go on.
100% he's right there. 100% you're right, because that's my argument. There's no plan B. There's no other player on that bench that you think, right, this ain't working. Let's change it up a bit. And that boils down to exactly what you're saying, but I'll let you continue. But yeah, 100% I agree with that. It's
like, who were playing I can't think who were playing other week, and he didn't fucking bring the sub on. Well, Southampton, yeah, and he just didn't bring the sub on. Today, 3-1 down, and we've still got a sub on the bench, and you haven't changed out. It's just like for like, and you think, just fucking change it up a little bit. You can only do it for so long. Everyone knows Burnley, 4-4-2, rigid, solid at the back, play the long ball to Chris Wood, try and break off, try and get a goal. You can only do that for so long. It's just, I don't know. It's just like I say, Graham rightly says, it's the fucking power struggle, and it's clear to see it's having a knock-on effect down. Shit goes downhill. Simple as that. 100%. Shit at the top, it transfers 100%. Down to every single body.
It's all right saying Garlic out. It's all right saying Garlic out, but people like Garlic have got us to where we are now. They've got us to 7th in the fucking thing, and they've got us to Europa League. So there's not... I know what you're saying. We need players, we need bodies. That's fine, and we all understand that. But again, like Johnny said, your manager's got to grab it by the scruff of the neck and get on with it.
We're doing the basics wrong.
To go back to what Johnny said about how, say, like somebody being negative at the top filters its way down. Of course it does. That's exactly what happens. It's a perfect example of what I think is happening now. Yeah, Dash is not to blame for any of this, in my opinion. I do think it's the fact that there's no bodies coming in and stuff. But again, that's a different debate on owners and stuff, and whether or not we're doing enough, and whether or not we've done enough in the past, and all that stuff, and whether or not what's happening in the future, who knows? But the fact that Daesh, who all the players look up to, is being so negative all the time. I honestly don't think it's helping. I really, really don't. But Laura makes a comment here. She says she thinks Daesh has actually been pretty reserved, given how little backing that he's got. He's put up with it season after season. Don't blame him for getting it to the end of his tether. And as much as I agree with that, I don't really blame him. I still think he needs to. He's making a point to try and get backing. I know he is. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get the board to back him, but he's having a knock-on effect because the board aren't backing him now, and the players aren't fucking. I would nearly say the players aren't playing for him. I don't want to say that comment, but the players are negative now because
he's doing it again now.
Is what I can't hear him, to be fair. So
he's doing it again now, like you're saying.
I'll let you go through Dash's post-match comments now.
He's doing it again now. He's just doing it again now. He's saying that Pope should have cleared it because of the conditions and the pitch, and he's a professional and he'll take that on board, I'm sure, because he's a good goalkeeper, etc. Then he goes on to say, but we need bodies. I've made it clear from the outline and stuff, and the body need to do this, and this. And what you're saying now, when you make excuses as the boss, saying, well, we ain't got the resources to do it, you're almost excusing the players for not performing because they know then that, well, it's not their fault. And I agree with you. It's the negativity just filters through because the players, I'm not saying they're going out there thinking, well, I don't care because it's not our fault. But what I'm saying is you're taking out 10% of them sometimes by excusing it.
That team today was good enough to beat Newcastle.
Yeah.
Fact.
I agree with that, Johnny.
So what was wrong with it? And I agree with you. It's the morale. It's just the tactics. Our tactics are good if you get an early goal or it's a very even game. When you start going a couple of goals down, we just can't change it. You're gone, aren't you?
I think if you look over the previous years, obviously, I think he can always be backed a lot more, and I do think we need a lot of investment. But it has been backed in critical times by the board. I think it just simply comes down to the players he wants now and the money that the board need to spend. They are obviously in a position where they cannot do that. Hence why they're looking for investment. And obviously, you can't just say, beginning of the transfer window, right, we need investment. Right, you buy the club right there you go, Dash, there's 100 million. It don't work that quick. You know what I mean? And that's the simple position we are. They cannot back Dash currently. How much he needs backing, they cannot do it. Hence why they're looking for investment. And until we get that investment, it ain't going to happen. So it's pointless going over it every single thing. God, well, he can't do anything. That's why he's looking to try and sell. If he wasn't looking to try and sell, then you can think, right, what's going on here? But he's actively, openly looking to try and sell. What more can he do?
No, it's.
So what happens?
It's frustrating because we are. It is shit. You know what I mean? And it is shit. And it's frustrating because everyone knows what we need. It's just we cannot do it currently.
So how do we do it?
Investment. We need investment.
Do we push for these?
100%. Yeah, you need to, don't you?
What happens when these owners come in? Because obviously a lot of people make a point of owners can come in and ruin clubs, and I know obviously there's that risk. But some people are always going to say. Someone made a comment. Sorry, whoever made it. I've lost it now. I can't find it. Sorry, whoever said it. I'm sorry, I forgot. There's been so many comments coming in, which is brilliant, obviously. But someone said, yes, we need investment, but we need to keep Garlic as a backbone of the club. And I think that the person who made that comment means sort of like, so American owners come in, have a shitload of money, give Garlic the money and say, right, Garlic, you do what you want. That in a dream scenario is obviously perfect. But why would a fucking American owner come in with fucking 100 million quid of his own money that he has earned from working hard over 10 years and give it to somebody else? Obviously, you want your own say.
Man United thought that would work by keeping Fergie as a fucking voice in the back room with new managers coming in, and it didn't work for them. It's sometimes you just need to cut ties and start again.
Yeah, but we've done it previously with Kilby, haven't we? Kilby sold it to Garlic, and then Kilby was still on the board and sat there. So the process does work if you've got the right people. I mean, the thing with Fergie, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? How he's still trying to call the shots at United. Yeah, you're a good manager, but keep your fucking beak out. You're not to do it anymore. Whereas Kilby knows the club. He knows how to run it. You sort the team out, Fergie, piss off. You know what I mean? You're not doing that anymore. Whereas Kilby sorted that out. He'll go and Garlic in, and he can just offer that advice because he's still a Burnley fan at the end of the day, isn't he? He don't want to see us get relegated, surely.
No. It's one of them, like, a lot of people are researching these American lads, and a few people have been a little bit apprehensive about them for whatever reason, but I trust Garlic. I know a lot of people slag him off, and a lot of people don't like it when I give him praise on the podcast, but I like Mike Garlic. He's got us where we are today, let's be honest. A lot of people will fucking give me shit for this, but if it wasn't for Mike Garlic, we would not be where we are today. So because of that, and because of what he's done for this club, and because he's a Burnley lad, I think, and because he's a Burnley fan and he's got us where we are, he's not going to sell us to somebody that's going to fuck us over. like the Walker family did with Venkis. Do you know what I mean? So I trust Garlic for that. And I don't think we're going to be sold to people that could screw us over like some people thinking we could be done.
Yeah.
It's hard to think now, but money talks, doesn't it?
Yeah, money does talk. Of course it does. I'm sure the Walker family didn't intentionally give it to Venkis, knowing that Venkis would screw him over.
Yeah. Exactly. And I do agree. There's maybe a need for a transitional thing. But like you said, Joe, who's going to come in and say, here's £100 of my money on a gamble?
100 quid.
Part of
I don't think all the fucking 100 quid, Simon.
100 million, I meant to say, sorry. 100 million of my money to go and gamble on players.
Yeah, totally agree. I'll start wrapping it up then. Laura's gone to pick up a Shagor. Paul
What?
Dickon.
Oh, Curry House, Burnley.
Yeah, Curry House, Burnley. Graham Jennings.
Long special from there.
I don't know what she's got because she's gone. So next time, ask her what she's got. I'm sure she'll like a long special. Graham Jennings says
he's got an opinion on every takeaway, Johnny Tate.
He loves takeaway, does JT. Anyway, like I said,
they don't get him that much, but go on.
Bollocks, you look like you get him loads. Anyway, Graham Jennings.
Oh, fucking hell. Wow.
Graham Jennings says a lot of great stuff mentioned by all three of you. Going to be a long, interesting season. We all know we will all stick by the club through thick and thin, but in recent years, I think this is going to be very thin. Sammy Dartnell says garlic is tighter than something I'm not going to mention. Richard Pedler, we all know the board can spend money. We've got Brady £15 million, Gibson £18 million. These are the sort of comments that I like. Gibson £18 million. They have done it in the past. I'm not sure it is garlic. I think Dyche can be too cautious sometimes. Even Barton said garlic was a tight bastard. Sorry, said Dyche was a tight bastard when he wanted a new contract.
There's two sides to every story, isn't there? And exactly. It's easy to go for the board. And it's not the case because he has been back with big money. And you've got to look at the Gibson transfer and think that was a fucking catastrophe from start to finish. For us to spend that kind of money and for him to be on loan in the Championship now is an absolute shit show from start to finish. And is that Garlick's fault? It's not. Simply, that is not Garlick's fault. So how's he going to do it again when he's looking to sell?
Why buy a player that you don't want to use on that big of a wage?
Yeah, 60 grand a week or whatever it were, 50, whatever you're on, and not even fucking look to do anything with him. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Fuck, it's one of them. Like, a lot of people give Garlic shit. A lot of people give fucking Mike Riggs shit. But I think a lot of it, sometimes, there's a few people are making out of... It could be Dyche. There's still loads of comments coming in, but like I said, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks, Simon and Johnny, for coming on. Is there anything you want to add? Then do it now.
No, it's just the thing is, it's just an opinion-based game. That's why we all love it, and that's why we all like talking about it. So
yeah,
you've got two sides. You've got the older fans who say, look where we are and keep doing this, we're lucky to be where we are. And then you've got the younger kind of fans who, I put myself in that bracket. I know I was a younger fan, but I want to see us try and kick on and keep investing. But then on the flip side, we invest and then we do a fucking stalk and go fucking backwards. You're like, shit. So it's just fucking what you want from your club, and I want to see investment and to see us try and get to a cup final, try and push up the league, then be cautious and be steady, and then fucking every season you're like fighting relegation. I don't want to see that. There's no benefit to going on the turf every single season. Oh, we're going to try and, we stayed up. It's fucking boring.
Simon?
True, but I mean, I've not been that fan yet. I don't think survival is boring yet for me. And I'm not just being controversial there, because for me, I still enjoy it.
It's boring.
It being in the Premier League and my season ticket.
Nah.
Shut up, man. And I listen to your trap, my turn now. And then I like it. I like what it is still. I like everything about the Premier League and being a part of it. And many people argue that, they used to like it more in the Championship when you're winning every week. And that's fair enough. That's their opinion. And that's probably Johnny Tate's opinion. But I'd rather...
I don't want to be in the Championship. I just don't want to be fucking pissing about at Bottom League every year.
I agree with that, but then I don't want to become West Ham and teams like that where they're just constantly bitching and mourning because they're not in charge. Like Newcastle fans, you said it yourself. What are they whinging about? What are they bitching about? I don't want to become that team.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair
we'll
enough.
End it there. Johnny Tate.
Yeah, we'll end it there. What I will end it with is a comment from Richard Pedley before Simon and Johnny fall out. He says, "Thanks, lads. Keep the faith. Up the Clarets." I'll be honest, Rich. As positive as that comment is, I'm finding it very difficult to keep the faith at the minute. Shout out to Ben Livingston, who's just come in the chat. Sorry, Ben, we're ending it now. I'm sure I'll catch you on YouTube soon. Johnny, Simon, any of you going on Warzone in the next 10, 15, 20 minutes?
My game if you're going on.
Yeah, go on then. I'll see you on Warzone in about 10 minutes, boys. Right, thanks for watching the stream, and we'll see you. What have I got coming up next? Podcast on Thursday, I think, is the next thing coming up, so hopefully I'll see you then.
I'll listen to you in the shower.
Yeah, I can.